have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
In 2005, two brothers hit the road searching for their father and ended up fighting demons, ghosts, monsters, angels, and preventing the apocalypse.
Over 15 seasons, Supernatural became more than just a television series. It became a fandom, a community, and for many people, a chosen family.
I'm Richard Speight Jr. I played the Trickster, Gabriel, Loki, and I also directed a number of episodes along the way.
And I'm Rob Benedict. I played Chuck Shirley, who was later revealed to be God.
Spoiler alert! Now, we spent years making the show, but we never actually sat down and watched every single episode in order until now.
And this season, we're diving into Season 9, the fallout of the angel trials and the fall of heaven, secret possessions and broken trust, and a whole new war between angels, demons, and the Winchester brothers.
Each week, we'll revisit every episode alongside the actors, writers, directors, editors, composers, and a whole slew of crew members who help bring the series to life.
We'll share behind-the-scenes stories, revisit unforgettable moments, and talk about what happened on set, preserving the history of this iconic show.
Now, fair warning, just like Rob proved a few seconds ago, there will be spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, there will be. And remember, this is our first real watch-through of the series, so if we forget a plot point, mix up some lore, or don't know what happens 3 episodes from now, that's just part of the ride.
So join us as we fire up the Impala once again, hit the open road, and continue our journey through Season 9 of Supernatural. Hey everybody, it's Rob Benedict.
And Richard Speight Jr.
And we're talking about Season 9, Episode 6, Heaven Can't Wait.
Yeah, no, dude, that's the spin on the old movie. I don't have to tell the kids at home what movie that's referencing. I mean, it's timely.
Look, that's one of my favorite all-time movies. I've showed the kids. I think it still holds up.
Does it? I got to tell you something. I saw the movie in the theater when it was released, and that was the last time I saw it.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Oh, and I loved it so much. And I
recall liking it, but I couldn't begin to tell you what it's about. Warren Beatty dies.
Oh man, it's taken from a play. The play. I don't think the play was called Heaven Can Wait, but my high school did the play.
Oh wow!
And it's Warren Beatty directed and is in it, and Diane Cannon, Charles Grodin is hilarious.
He's so funny.
And James Mason as the angel.
I remember Kevin Nealon years ago on SNL doing a skit as George Hamilton, talking about the effects of over sun exposure, you know? And he's like, hello, I'm George Hamilton. And he's just saying, like, you got to be careful out there in the sun. You need your sunscreen. When I see a knockout broad like Diane Cannon and her son's getting whittled away by the sun, I think to myself, come on, it's Diane. But not that she's not awesome, but it was a dated, like, Diane Cannon.
Diane Cannon, man. She was the best. A lot younger than a lot of our listeners, Richard.
Yeah, I know. That's why we had to explain. Honestly, this felt a little bit like a Kings of Con podcast opening more than a Supernatural Then and Now opening.
I forgot for a second where I was and who I'm talking to and what this is. But
we're doing Supernatural Then and Now. That's what we're here for. And that's the podcast title. The episode title.
Yeah, Heaven Can't Wait. Whatever platform you listen to this episode on, Apple, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, share the link to it on Twitter or Instagram. We're trying to get a sense of where people are listening.
We love that you listen. Where are you listening from? How are you getting it? How are you accessing the podcast? We want to know.
And yes, you can do an audience poll on Instagram, but we don't want to make it easy.
What if they're not on Instagram, smarty pants?
Right. Well, then they're on Twitter. You can't do a poll on Twitter? I guess not. Yeah, you can. But we're not doing that. We're not doing the poll. You just tell us where you're listening, and then we have a team of bookkeepers. They're going to tally and find out.
Yeah, we're going to learn. Like it or not, we're going to learn.
No, we're going to find out where you listen to the podcast, so we can get an idea of how we're getting to you. For example, Rich really gets to me. He just gets me right in my solar plexus. That's where I feel it.
Is that where you feel it? Because you usually point to your bottom.
That's something else. Are we ready?
Yeah.
In Rexford, Idaho, a depressed man contemplates suicide, but is interrupted by a mysterious stranger who claims to have been sent by him. Moments later, the man explodes into a cloud of pink residue.
I just want to say one thing. This actor came in and had probably an hour and a half worth of work on Supernatural. He was great. The guy committing suicide.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
And by the way, for a split second, I thought they got Hugh Laurie on Supernatural. Like he looked exactly like Hugh Laurie.
He did look like Hugh Laurie, yeah. For a second, I was like, oh, this is our guy. We're going to be with this guy for the rest of the episode. But no, pink residue. Meanwhile, Castiel, now fully human, has settled into a routine as a gas station employee.
Sorry, I wanted to say one other thing about that scene. I thought it was also very well shot. There's a close-up of the earring and the shadows of the figure that coming in and the pan down from the gun to the family photo. It was just really well done.
It was. Do you know this director? Is it
I don't.
Name I'd never seen?
Correct. Same.
Well, meanwhile, Castiel, now fully human, has settled into a routine as a gas station employee under the name Steve. His manager, Nora, appreciates his kindness and awkward charm. When Castiel sees news reports about strange deaths, he contacts Dean. Back at the Men of Letters bunker, Sam, Dean, and Kevin continue to try to decipher the angel tablet.
Yeah, you could tell the check's cleared because suddenly we've got the real Osric Chow and
Mark Shepard.
Elena
Huffman is there. Yeah, they spent a lot of money on this one. Kevin has translated it into another ancient language, but remains...
Translated. I get it, Kevin. Translated. Clever, Rob. Good one, Robbie.
Kevin translated it into an ancient language, but remains unable to unlock its secrets. Dean jumps at Castiel's lead as an excuse to get out of the bunker and investigate a case. At the crime scene, Dean discovers that the pink residue consists entirely of the victim's organic matter. The only connection between the victims is that both were emotionally distressed. Dean meets with Castiel, who seems content with his simple human life, but eventually convinces him to help investigate.
Right.
As more victims appear, like a heartbroken teenage girl, Castiel quickly identifies the culprit as a member of the Rit Zine, or Hands of Mercy.
I really liked that high school girl scene. Both the girl who's like, I could just die, or whatever. She was funny, but her friend was like, kind of bummed, like,
and also
not as bummed as when she got a C, but a little more bummed than when, it was a real well written bit.
Yeah. Well, the Rit Zine, or Hands of Mercy, is a class of healer angels. These angels are designed to end unbearable suffering, and Castiel suspects one has become confused about human emotions, interpreting sadness and heartbreak as pain that must be eliminated. Back at the bunker, Sam attempts to convince Crowley to help translate the tablet. Crowley agrees, but only if he can place a demon called Abaddon.
What?
Abaddon. Abaddon. Hoping to learn more about both the tablet and Abaddon's plans, Sam and Kevin reluctantly agree. Meanwhile, Dean encourages Castiel to embrace human experiences, including what he assumes is a date with Nora. Now, I thought this was a date.
They did a good job selling it.
They really did.
I thought it was a date.
I felt bad for Castiel.
Yeah, I did too. So I got to rewind the tape just a little bit.
Okay.
First of all, the actress playing the store manager was great.
Although I did have questions about what happened in her life that she's now managing a 7-Eleven.
With an infant.
Yeah.
Like her husband left her really early in the process.
No disrespect to anyone who manages 7-Elevens.
No, not at all. And by the way, may you all be that hot.
Yeah.
I thought it was also the cleanest 7-Eleven I've ever seen. So kudos to management of that one.
Well, and to Castiel, who's
really doing it.
Yeah.
But I will say that when they went to the crime scene, this is what I was going to say. And usually the boys have to jump through hoops, put on the suits and then flash the badges.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Not only they go right under the police tape, they went right under the police tape with an employee of 7-Eleven still in his 7-Eleven vest. I'm like, this is a loosely run investigation, and it's going to be thrown out in court. Like there's if they find a fingerprint, good luck using it.
Yeah.
This is a tainted crime scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah, totally. Also, I worried, she's like, you're just amazing. You're the best employee. And the next scene, he's spilling blue slushy all over the floor.
Dude, I know. I was like, well, that went pear-shaped fast?
Yeah, I was like, I hope she doesn't come out now. But remarkably, she didn't. She completely missed it.
I know.
Meanwhile, Dean encourages Castiel to embrace human experiences, including what he assumes is a date with Nora. Castiel nervously accepts the invitation, only to discover Nora actually wants him to babysit her infant daughter while she goes on a date.
Such a rip. I mean, such a rip.
I was super bummed about that whole thing.
Yeah.
Despite his confusion, Castiel throws himself into the task, singing lullabies and carefully looking after the baby. That was pretty funny.
You know what I felt like? I felt like, welcome to my life, Castiel.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot chick calls Rich. Hey, Rich, could you come do some menial tasks so I can go out with hot guy who doesn't appreciate me?
Well, the difference is you're married.
Yes, ma'am.
You're married to that hot chick.
Yeah, but I'm thinking back in high school. I'm rewinding the tape.
Oh, I'm talking about right now.
You're married to a hot chick.
No, I'm sorry. You're talking about your experience having a hot chick say, hey, hold the baby. I'm going out with a hot guy. And like the difference is you're married to that woman.
Oh, yeah. And she still goes out with a hot guy.
Yeah, that's it's the Jay-Z joke.
I know. It took me a second. Sorry. It's early. It's very early here. I get a lot of selfies of Rob and JC at the dance hall.
There you go.
While I'm watching the children.
There you go. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Person who plays Gabriel. Do you, is this where you have the scene with Misha in this 7-Eleven thing?
No.
Don't you come back and have a...
I have a cameo here, but he's not Steve and he's not in that 7-Eleven. No.
But isn't it in a convenience store?
It is, but it's not one he's working in.
Huh. Because like halfway through it, I was like, oh, Rich is going to pop in.
Here comes Rich.
Yeah, but no.
No Rich.
Well, as the investigation continues, Dean discovers that the husband of the first victim survived and had recently become deeply religious through the sermons of the Reverend Buddy Boyle.
We remember him, televangelist.
That's right.
Last episode.
Dean recognizes the man's truck outside Nora's house and realizes the killer may be heading there. The angel responsible is revealed to be Ephraim, one of the fallen angels. Ephraim tracks down Castiel and explains that he has become disillusioned with humanity. Unable to understand human suffering, he's decided that the merciful solution is to kill anyone experiencing emotional pain.
That actor also great.
He was good. And that's about all of us. Who doesn't experience a little bit of emotional pain?
Yeah, we could all be wiped out now.
Yeah. So he also admits that he once admired Castiel, but now sees him as a fallen figure. That's just why he didn't need to say that. He didn't need to add that in just to make matters worse.
So Castiel slices open his hand and he's doing a sigil on the window to keep the dude away from the baby. Is that the thought there?
I guess so.
Because the sigil never really comes into play.
It doesn't. You see him kind of wiping the blood over there, but it never really, and they don't really comment on it, but he throws him across the room before he can finish it.
I think it's a baby thing.
Okay.
Like save the baby.
Save the baby. Ephraim attacks Castiel inside Nora's home. Castiel attempts to fight back, but is overpowered. Just as Ephraim is about to kill him, Dean arrives and tosses Castiel an angel blade. But before that, Dean arrives, and poor Dean, Sam and Dean, they just get thrown across every room they enter.
Yeah, I know.
He could have snuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never break open the door. Like, you're going to get thrown across the room. But I guess we need to give the stuntmen something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Keep them employed.
Anyway, so he walks in, he gets thrown across the room, and he knocks him out like it always does. But then he wakes up to toss Castiel the angel blade. Castiel uses it to kill Ephraim and save everyone in the house. At the bunker, Crowley finally reaches Abaddon and learns she has dramatically increased Hell's collection of souls by exploiting his old Crossroads contracts.
Wait, who does he finally reach?
Abaddon. Abaddon. Abaddon.
It's always great to see Elena Huffman, by the way. May I just say?
Yeah.
Always great to have her on the TV.
Yeah.
Love that character.
Yeah, I know you.
And by the way, Abaddon has shown up in a lot more episodes than I was expecting, and I'm joyful.
Yeah.
But I for some reason didn't realize she was in so many. It's great.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. This was one of those episodes where it felt like a normal TV show in that, like, they had the Men of Letters was our apartment, our set, and then You've got Kevin Tran as the guy who's doing the research, who's nervous. You know what I mean? It felt like it had an actual cast of characters, not just the two brothers.
Yeah.
Even Mark Shepard, even Crowley being sort of...
Demon chained to your...
Yeah. Like you do.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, after the call, Crowley honors his bargain and translates the tablet, revealing devastating news. Metatron's spell that expelled the angels from heaven apparently cannot be reversed. Sam informs Dean, but Dean chooses not to tell Castiel. Instead, he returns Castiel to the gas station and encourages him to focus on building a life as a human. I guess it's not really a 7-Eleven because 7-Eleven doesn't have gas, so you gotta...
Some of them do in different areas.
Oh, really?
There's 7-Eleven gas stations, yeah.
Huh. Well, anyway, it's a gas and sip.
Well, yeah, it's obviously not a 7-Eleven because of the, copyright stuff.
All right, you don't have to take a tone. In the final moment, Sam notices a vial of Kevin's blood is missing and secretly observes Crowley injecting himself with it, hinting at a mysterious plan of his own. And that's the end of our synopsis. But my interpretation was that maybe he was like getting a high off of it.
I thought so too. I thought or he had to survive with it or something.
Yeah.
I will say, but Jared really ducks back around the corner not wanting to be caught, which I also thought was weird. I thought he'd bust in there going like, what are you doing? Like, as opposed to...
Yeah. I made a couple of Rob's dumb notes.
Great. Hold on a second. Rob's dumb notes. Here they go again. Rob's dumb notes. Everybody hates them. Rob's dumb notes. Here we go. Rob reads them now.
So I was thinking AI would be helpful for the boys. Like if they were now, because they're constantly like going through the books and what's the spell? Like you could just ask Claude.
Yeah, but would Claude know the underworld, everything that's in AI is an amalgamation of everything it learns out there in the world. Would all the things in the Men of Letters bunker be online? I don't think so.
Well, it's a special AI. It's a special supernatural AI.
Okay.
Right. So
well, then still, who's putting it on? It still has to get to get learned by the computer. It has to be online.
It's online.
How do you know?
Because I'm making it up. They don't have AI, but if they did, if they could ask, like, let's call it Claudius, like something sort of the supernatural version.
Okay, Claudius.
What's the spell to get a hold of Abaddon or whatever? Like it just be boom, you just have it. They're dumb notes. They're not smart notes.
Hey, isn't there a play called I, Claudius?
Yes.
So the computer version is AI Claudius.
AI Claudius. There you go. Nice. And this is an honest question. Is there blood splatter in every opening? Nearly every opening has a splatter.
No, but usually there's something like a scream or something that's a crescendo moment that takes you into the...
And then a lot of times they have like a...
Yeah.
Like a splat.
Yeah. A lot of times they do.
And lastly, when he clips the rose petal, the rose...
Yeah.
He clips a rose for her, thinking he was on a date. Where did the clipper come from? It just happened to be a clipper out there.
That's a great question.
He bends down to the rose bush, and he's like, "Ooh, I'm going to give her a rose." And then he holds up a rose clipper, and he goes, and then it's like, where did that? It just happened to be there, I guess. She left it.
That is a really good observation, Robert.
See, every once in a while, Rob's dumb notes.
Rob's dumb notes. Not dumb today. Rob's dumb notes.
It's a great one-act play.
Rob's dumb notes?
No, Rich just texted me and Steve, it's a great one-act play.
No, because that was a long time ago.
Oh, really?
I texted that to you when you wrote, looking for email.
Okay, so, Richard.
It's a waiting for Godot joke,
Richard.
Yeah.
Review.
R. Rob and Rich. Ratings. Okay.
I got to be honest about something. I keep thinking about the person we're interviewing today and that he's going to listen to this episode. And I'm self-conscious. Like I want to give him a good episode.
Yeah,
he deserves
I love
the
Bobo.
best supernatural then and now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And look, I think it's a lot that's fun. Like everything with Misha as Steve is great. The guest star cast was super strong. I liked the idea that guy was going around smiting people into a pink mist.
I thought it was a great episode of Supernatural. It has everything that your episode of Supernatural has.
Yeah, it did. It felt like a procedural in that way.
A little more, yeah, like that, yeah.
For me, for my money, and this has nothing to do with our great friend Bob Berens, I'm more of a Monster of the Week guy. I enjoy those a little bit more than the ones that are working to the mythology.
But you wouldn't call that Angel the Monster of the Week?
That's what I'm saying. What I liked was the Monster of the Week element, but there's a lot of procedural B story.
Right. I thought Misha did a great job.
Yes.
He really is an anchor of the episode.
Yeah.
I really love that character. Another actor might play Castiel one-notey. it could be a one-note character, right?
In the wrong hands, it could be a one-note character.
But he creates subtle variations, very sensitive moments in a way that's very unique to this show. And your heart breaks for him. I really do. You just like, my heart breaks for that character and him sort of grappling with being human and what that means. And so naive, really. Him singing the song was hilarious. I wonder what that came from, that they chose that song.
I don't know. Maybe that's the one they could get the rights to.
Believe it or not, it's just me. Oh, you know who else was really great? The police chief guy.
Yeah, he was great.
Played it very straight. Was very like...
Yeah, he did a great job.
Really
and I also liked, and this is a tip of the cap to Bob, that the truck was a good giveaway. Meaning that he goes around the truck, the truck's in his way, he goes around the truck. Yeah. In my mind, I thought, oh, that's the guy there to pick her up for the date. That's some jerk. It's going to be a bad date. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be, it's some asshole date, and we're going to go on the date and see that he's a jerk. No, it came back in the photo, and it was a distinct enough truck, and the director and Bob on the page and the director in shooting made enough of a sandwich out of it so that when it popped up in the photo, the viewer, was also like, the truck. Like it was a good connect the dots TV moment that could have been glossed over or hit too hard. So they did a good job.
And you find yourself going like, get back to the house.
It's in the house. He's calling from the house. All right. Well, then all that leads to a facial hair rating there, Robert. So what do you got?
Well, what do I have? What do I have? What do you have?
Well,
enough about me.
Tell Penny for your thoughts. As I have said, and you and I have said, there's a lot that I enjoyed about this, especially the incognito underground Misha stuff. I also thought the opening teaser was super strong and the guests are strong. And I didn't understand what was going on and why this angel was making them explode like that. And that mist, it was cool. It was scary. It was creepy. And also that guy killed that teenage girl. I thought, well, that's a twist. That's not even somebody that troubled. It was really well written in that regard. A lot of interesting story points. Yeah. Especially in the main A story and the Misha date thing, the subplot there was great. Yeah. There's a lot that I loved. And so I'm going to give this a very strong rating. I, in my opinion, I think it's a strong rating. And it's also a bit of a tip of the cap to the writer of the episode, who is also a dear friend, Bob Berens, who we've known since those days and worked with him on Kung Fu after that. And just think he's a great guy. Very talented guy. So I'm going to give this the Bob Ross. I'm going to give this the Bob Ross beard. Bob Ross has a nice beard. I know people stare at that hair, but he also has a beard. And Bob Ross, the painter from PBS, who likes to put happy little trees everywhere. Bob Ross has a nice beard, solid beard. Anybody looking at Bob Ross would go, yep.
That's a beard.
That's that man making the happy little trees and that little brook right there out of nothing. That guy's got a beard. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Bob Ross as a compliment to the episode and a tip of the cap to its writer, Bob Berens.
Yeah. I when you talk about beards, you can't talk about classic beards in pop culture without mentioning Kenny Rogers.
If you do, you've missed something. You've missed a step.
Right. So I'm going to give it to Kenny Rogers, solid beard. Yeah. Up there with some of the greats.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Just solid. You're in good hands.
You know you're in good hands. You know that with that beard, whoever is in charge is going to know when to hold him.
Know when to fold him.
And know when to walk away.
Know when to walk away.
Dude.
And know when to run.
Know when to pick up the pace. Got to run.
You got to run.
So good. Congratulations, Bob Berens, on a nice review from Rob and Rich.
Well, we are so excited about our next guest, who we've just been talking about, Robert Berens. We call him Bob, or Bobo.
Bobo.
He joined the Supernatural Writers Room in season 9 as the story editor, and then stuck around through season 15, becoming eventually an executive producer. He's also served as a writer and consulting producer on Doom Patrol, and he was the showrunner on Kung Fu. And we'll find out what he's working on now, but he's still remains a very busy man.
A sought-after artist.
Please give it up for Robert Berens. First of all, welcome, Bob Berens. We're very excited to have you.
Well, I got to tell you something, Rob. We were introducing you and explaining to the people that you're Robert Berens, but people call you Bob. But also, you're often called Bobo. That's a nickname that you kind of arrived with, right? You weren't given that by the writer's room. That's a former nickname, correct?
It was a former nickname, but actually my more popular amongst my friends' nickname was Bunny,
Right.
which has its own history. But Bobo, they ran with Bobo at Supernatural. And I don't know who's to blame for that, but I would guess it was Robbie Thompson. Actually, no. On Twitter, I think had already sort of existed as Bobo. And that's sort of, because Robbie saw me on Twitter, it kind of permeated the whole culture.
It became a thing. Well, it was one of my favorite things, Rob Benedict. You'll appreciate this. When first episode of Kung Fu that I came in to direct, and you do those Zoom production meetings, and they'd already done a couple episodes, and so I'm coming in here, new guy, and I'm, all Bobo this and Bobo that. They all thought that either I was an idiot or an asshole, because they're like, why are you calling the boss Bobo? And also, who the bleep is Bobo? Like, what is wrong with you? There's nobody named Bobo here. And if you're referring to our boss, you're fired. So it took me a second to go, no. I knew previously, I thought that name probably went over here with him, but it hadn't arrived yet when I got there.
I was hoping it would catch on. Like, I was waiting for, I wasn't going to be like, oh, I'd like to be called Bobo. I was waiting for everyone in Kung Fu to kind of pick up on it and run with it, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Did it ever work? Did my calling you Bobo do anything? Ever move the needle?
I think they all call me Bob. I think I'm Bob.
Yeah. So every time I show up, I call Bobo, and then they just pretend like I never was there.
A little disrespectful space.
It was just very funny to watch the faces on the Zoom. I'll go, what?
Just hold that thought. We're coming right back.
When people hear that Mint Mobile plans are only $15 a month, a whole lot of people wonder, what's the catch? Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience, there isn't one. The only catch in this commercial is this guy. There are no gimmicks and no gotchas. Just unlimited talk, text, and data, fast, reliable coverage on the nation's largest 5G network, and an award-winning care team. I guess that makes Mint Mobile a catch. Kind of like this guy. Look, since switching to Mint, I've been able to keep a tight grip on my bill. I got 3 sons. They all are on the phone more than I would like, quite frankly. I don't want to go bankrupt for these kids surfing the web and calling their friends and calling their friends about surfing the web and surfing the web to find their friends to call their friends to surf more. Point being, I know what I'm spending, so there's no surprises. That's what I like, and that's what you get. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right with premium wireless for $15 a month. You can even bring along your current phone and phone number. You choose from 3, 6, or 12-month plans and say goodbye to a monthly bill. Sign up online and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. Do it. You'll be glad you did. No need to thank me, but you're welcome. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/SPNTAN. That's mintmobile.com/SPNTAN. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/SPNTAN. That's it. There's no catch. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
Guys, I can't believe it's here again. I'm talking about summer. This time is just flying by. So it's time to start thinking about what you're wearing for your summer events. You got beaches, beach parties, graduation beach parties. You've got all sorts of summery cocktails to drink. What are you going to wear? Myself, I'm very excited about this quince top that I bought. And it's kind of a fancy, it's nice. It's a nice short sleeve, 3-button collared shirt. And I love it because you can wear it. I love it because it's comfortable, but you can also wear it to the party. You can also just wear it running some errands. It's casually cool. And that's why I keep coming back to Quince. They focus on high quality essentials that feel and look amazing. Think breathable linen and soft organic cotton, well-made basics, but without the luxury markup. It's that rare balance where everything feels elevated, but still effortless. And that's what I'm going for. Effortless elevation. I mean, you've heard me talk about their tees or their t-shirts are just soft and easy to wear. They've got linen pants and shirts for the perfect warm weather. I mean, that's if you're really classing it up. But the thing is, everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So go ahead and class it up. They work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Quince goes way beyond clothing, too. They've got custom upholstered sofas, ceramic cookware, premium bedding. I got myself a really sweet carrying around bag. It's the kind of brand you end up recommending to everyone for everything, which is why I'm here talking to you now. Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/STN for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. That's QUINCE.com/STN for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/STN.
Thanks for listening. Now, back to the episode.
I'm imagining this is a pretty fun group of writers at this point because you have you, Robbie, Jenny, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have Eric and Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a fun group of people.
Oh, 100%. And in Eric and Nicole's case, they were the writers who broke me in the industry. Like, they hired me on my first job as a writer's assistant on Ring.
Who was?
Eric and Nicole.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And they're all still friends. They're really good friends, that whole group.
Yeah. I'm working with Eric and Nicole on the project right now. I just came to the project with Jenny. Like, we're a tight group there. And they're and Adam Glass as well. And the vibe there was really, really fun and very welcoming for me.
That's awesome. So is this your first season?
Yeah. First season.
Wow. Wow. So how did tell us, how did you get involved with the show? How did that work?
Well, actually, fun fact, I think it was one of my first ever legitimate staffing interviews was like 2 seasons before for Supernatural. So I'd gone up and I'd been told I had a good shot and I didn't end up getting the job, but I'd interviewed over there. But actually, I hadn't met Bob and I hadn't met Jeremy or anyone else over there. I had finished up with Ringer with Eric and Nicole. When that season ended, Eric and Nicole returned to Supernatural. So I had some friends over there, but it was actually a Dab, I think, Andrew Dab, who was sort of in a position to jockey for me to join the staff. We had Eric and Nicole were working on a pilot, and they sort of convened some of their writer friends to just kind of spitball and pitch out some story stuff for a pilot they were working on. And Andrew was across the table from me. I pitched. I didn't know if I did, how valuable my contributions were, but I guess Andrew was impressed with what I had to contribute. And so I think he combined with my reps, put me on the radar of Bob and Jeremy when they were, looking for a new staff writer for season 9. And I met with Bob and Jeremy, and they liked my sample, and I ended up getting the job.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, also Richard, just fun fact, friend of our other podcast, Hank Chilton, also worked on Ringer, so they all knew each other from Ringer.
Yeah. Friend of the podcast, Hank Chilton and Bobo.
Yeah.
Predating Robin Rich.
And all of us are not quite a stone's throw from each other over here in San Diego.
I know.
And so this episode, one of the things I really liked about it was exploring more about Castiel trying to be human. I was just saying, I love the way Misha plays that character because it could be one note with another actor, but with him, there's such subtle things that he does, and your heart breaks for him. There's something about Castiel that my heart breaks for him, trying to be human, trying to understand, build a life like a human would. What aspects about his adjustment to humanity were you most interested in exploring?
Yeah, I think all of it. I think like we had seen so many different shades of Castiel already, but what we hadn't seen is him kind of like trying to fit like squarely inside of like a human baseline, like working man persona.
Right.
In terms of like where story stuff came from that season, I was assigned the episode. So the broad contours of where he was at, I think even the pitch of him like trying to live a normal life was there. My contribution at the outset was like the kernel of the idea of the Ritzian and the angel side of things. And then I was sort of handed this sort of ballpark of Castiel sort of kicked out of the bunker, finding a normal life. And so, I honestly don't remember sort of like the full genesis of that, but I remember really sparking to seeing him just try to live a baseline human life and suggesting that in and of itself is challenging, and really just digging into like the fun and the pathos of Castiel trying to get by day to day as a human being.
Right.
Yeah, and it definitely feels like, I mean, even seeing him in the vest and stuff, I mean, he looks the character of Castiel looks uncomfortable in a trench coat. He looks uncomfortable in everything. But he really looks uncomfortable when you put him in like modern civilian clothing that isn't a trench coat, and loose tie.
Yeah. But also adorable. Like, I mean,
no, it's super fun. I mean, it's a really fun. It's fun to watch him try to assimilate.
It's interesting. So the way that it works for you, you're writing what they kind of give you.
Yeah, I mean, just to go like my first week on the show, it was like I was brought into the room. I think I was the only new writer, though. I know Jenny had just joined the staff officially from moving up. Unfamiliar faces, and basically like the way to earnestly, you would get a slot, but you would kind of like in that first week, you get sort of, here's where we are in the season broadly. These are the broad tentpoles for our sort of myth arc, and into that pitch independent standalone ideas. So you go off into your office, you come up with sort of core log lines and premises for, individual monsters of the week, basically, and spitball with other writers. So like, I know that like my pitches, I was bouncing them off like the whole staff at various points. And then you come in and it's kind of like a bake-off. Everyone's pitching their MOTWs. And then, it's sort of up to Jeremy and Bob. And I think Andrew was sort of consulting on that too. Like, how do we lay out the ideas we like, how do we lay them out in the season? And so like my kernel pitch of kind of this angel medic who misunderstands humanity and starts killing people got slotted in sort of in the 6-7 zone for the story. So at that point, we knew that Castiel would be on his own. And then it was kind of, I was involved in the development of some of that, but some of it I was inheriting from sort of the bosses about like broadly where that story would begin and end.
And when you're talking about pitching it to some of the staff, which is what you said earlier, does that essentially mean you're going to your buddies and sitting in the sofa going, hey, would this work? Do you, what are your thoughts on this? How could I improve it? Or that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like leading up to, it's like we know that say like on Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be pitching to Bob and Jeremy. Building up to that, you're kind of bouncing it off individual writers. Like people are coming into your office, you're knocking on other doors, and you're kind of like, what about this? What about that? And I know that like, especially in my first season, like a really warm feeling from sort of Andrew and Robbie, like wanting me to succeed and like giving me ideas and, well, how about something like this? How about something like that? And giving me some guidance on which of my ideas were sort of worth pursuing and which would sort of have a better shot of getting over the net when it was time to pitch them to the bosses.
And then how does it work? Like this is a big mythology episode. So you have a lot of storylines going on, Crowley, Abaddon, the Angel Tablet, Castiel's new life. Who says this is the section of that story that you need to be telling in this episode?
Yeah, I mean, some of it comes out in that first week or two, like with the headlines, but then there's also they're making adjustments to like where things are laying, and so there's ongoing communication, like and Andrew Dabb knocking on the door, like. He just talked to Jeremy, like, we're actually thinking here for this zone, for this episode, like, maybe this is more of the end point on the myth arc of it all. Like, I think in script, you end up, in developing the actual pitch, you have a certain amount of latitude about how you get from point A to point B, but you do have sort of like tent poles in place that you're trying to serve and build off of.
That's interesting. And as the showrunner, it's the showrunner's responsibility to make sure where that all slots in ultimately. Like if you're working on episode 5 and I'm working on episode 6 and you have this thing happening, and I actually had also had that happening. You know what I mean? Who goes, oh, no, that's going to happen in Bob's episode.
Yeah, I think like some of that would just be like, go knock on the door of the writer and just be like, oh, where is it exactly? Like they've spoken to Jeremy about where they want where the episode has to end. And so there's ongoing communication amongst the writers, but there's also, you're getting sort of headline updates either directly from Jeremy, like you can go knock on the door of Jeremy, or if you pass Bob, oh, where are we at exactly with this? But Andrew was kind of, not, I don't know if officially in a number 2 capacity, but he had kind of a role as an intermediary and was kind of communicating, adjustments in story and stuff. So you knew where you were situated and what your targets were.
Right. Was it your idea to make Castiel's mundane job be a convenience store?
I was thinking about it this morning, and I do not remember
Yeah.
core of that. I remember digging into it and loving it. I honestly can't say. Like,
It's a great one, though. It's a great
so good.
It's a great bit.
It's so good.
Oh, it was me. Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. Rob and I were like, we didn't like it. You were like, yeah, that was definitely not me.
Yeah, I don't think it was me. Yeah, it's so good. And the blue vest was a great.
Also, just his Starman-esque sort of observation of people interacting and going, I too can throw a stir stick into a garbage can. You know,
Yeah,
just like,
right.
All of that was great.
Yeah.
And also, you really did a great job. You, Misha, the actress, and the director did a great sell on Misha's going on a date until, he's not. Like, I totally bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Rob did too, right? Rob, you thought it was a date.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we totally thought that was a date. I was so bummed for him that it wasn't.
I felt terrible.
Eventually, you started going up for filming occasionally, right? Because I remember you were there one time I was there.
Yeah, so it was really for writers, you kind of had to go up on your own dime. And it was just, and usually it was like near the end of the season, you know, it's like, okay, I've finished my writing duties, but I've got an episode shooting. You could kind of go up on your own dime. And, you know, production would get you, you know, a place to stay and pick you up and bring you to set. But you were there and you could kind of produce and interface with the director. You've been talking with him on the phone during prep, but it was sort of like unofficial on set, writer, producer, not like the standard, you know, there from beginning of prep through all of shooting. Usually it was for like 3 or 4 days or so.
Right.
So when you say you're on your own dime, did they get you a hotel or like how on your own dime was it?
I don't remember. I know that some stuff was defrayed and covered, but really it was production wasn't paying for it because it was not customary to produce your own episodes. And I had experiences with, you know, Supernatural crew who I came to love once I spent more time there. But like the first couple of times I went up, like, you know, different crew members would be like, oh, who are you? And I'd be like,
yeah,
I'm the writer. And they'd be like, why are you here?
So weird.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Well, and you know what's funny, Bob, is the reverse is also true. Because I remember going from directing that show to my first job directing not that show, which was Lucifer. And the writer, who's a great lady named Jen Amata, she's like, hey, I'm the writer. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. And then we went to the next room and she was still there. I'm like, you're going with me. Oh, yeah. And then she was filming the whole time. And I was like, oh, because I had only done it where you never saw them. And typically I would maybe get a cup of coffee with the writer in advance of going to Vancouver, because we had the benefit of all being in LA, but they were never on set unless they were there in a tourist capacity. You know, like I remember Meredith Glenn and Steve Yockey coming up, and they were obviously there. I was happy to talk to them, get their notes, but they weren't, like you're saying, embraced by production as, here are the bigwigs, listen to what they have to say.
Yep.
It was not that vibe.
I'll say this, and this might be not even true, but like I like to think it was true. When I was doing the spinoff, you know, that was a planted pilot, and there was a lot of episodes sort of leading up to it that sort of fed into it, and they paid for it this time. I was up there sort of producing, you know, with Bob for the episode that introduced one of the characters, episode 3, and then I was there, the shoots like episode 9 through 10. And I think like a couple of crew members, like, you realize that you've now spent more time on set than any writer has. Like, are there any continuous days on set than anyone in the entire run of the show? Like it was so unusual, honestly, you know?
Yeah. Which is an unusual thing for other shows. Like it's weird to not have the writer around. But yeah, I always liked it when you were there because it's nice to go right to the source if you have a question as an actor. Like, you know, how do you say this?
And the truth is, like, I mean, at least if you're a good producer, like writer, producer, you know, you have the latitude to make adjustments that facilitate and help the crew, help the director, help the actors. It's like, absent that, it's like, yeah, you have a little bit of independence, you know, like a word here, a word there, but like you're flying blind if you start making larger changes. And really, like, that was the fun of becoming a producer and learning how to do it, was realizing like, oh, I'm in service of, not here to dictate, like, it's that feeling of like being an asset to this ongoing thing as opposed to being like the top down. I don't know. That's the fun of producing.
Yeah. So apparently the original scripted thing that Castiel sings to the baby was Highway to Hell. Do you know what the cause to change it to?
Did the Young Brothers want too much money?
It was money.
Greatest American Hero.
It was money. I mean, that's what I recall. It was just far too expensive.
You remember who came up with the Greatest American Hero theme?
I don't, but I'll just say it was Robbie because it probably was. I don't know. Maybe Dab. Honestly, maybe Dab. But it was one of those things too, where it's like, it's such a great moment that truthfully, like you could do like 15 alternate takes with 15 different, funny, random tracks that he's remembered, and it would play gangbusters. So I don't think we were too heartbroken when we
No.
it out. It was sort of like a problem opportunity or whatever.
Totally. Yeah, just to watch him try to sing that anything is funny.
And you have this Rit Zine, if I'm saying that right, Angel, that's specifically invented by you guys, right? By you, right? It's not a historical fact, right?
Yeah. And I might be reconstructing it a little bit off, but like, this is how I recall that, like, some of the advice I was given when you come up with Monster of the Week pitches is that the reality was by season 9 of the show, people were only going to get like a new monster over the net maybe once a season. Like, we had kind of gotten into a place where like the appetite for like new types of creature, they were just harder sells in the room because there wasn't necessarily a blueprint for how we're going to depict them. Or some episodes hadn't come out as well as maybe they had hoped off of these new monsters. So we were a little bit in a like, vampire, werewolf, ghost, like the realm of acceptable monsters.
That old loop.
And so, like, having gotten that information, I think I was like, oh, it would be fun to kind of come up with like a new category of angel. Like, that might be a way to pitch into the new status quo of the season and carve out kind of a new idea. And so I think that was sort of the genesis of like poking around and kind of trying to come up with an idea that existed within the angel mythology that could function as a standalone episode, a kind of Angel of the Week episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. And you got a good actor to do it. It was a very intimidating character.
Yeah.
But with the crosses and all the symbolism, you're like, God, shouldn't this guy be a good guy? Like, it was.
Yeah.
And the thought process behind the character was interesting.
Yeah. Apparently you tweeted Berens tweets. You tweeted, there's a movie ref in tonight's ep. First person to catch it gets a retweet and whatever change I have in my pocket. Do you remember what what your reference was?
I don't remember.
What was the movie ref?
The name of the baby Castile babysits, Tanya, is a reference to baby Tanya from the 1996 comedy Citizen Ruth.
Oh,
is that,
yes.
That maybe been the right answer?
Baby Tanya, yeah.
Isn't that funny? It's funny to me even that we're like, I don't know, it's such a sign of the times that we were live tweeting these episodes. That was something we would do.
Yeah, and even listen to like the mode of address in that tweet. It's so already from a different era. Like,
yeah, I know, man. It is. It's so funny.
There's like a presumption of like a warm welcome to a tweet. I don't know. Everyone's like, you just wouldn't. I don't know. It just
not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Yeah, no one got that one. I don't think it was too deep a cut, but I highly recommend that movie. It's truly the greatest comedy of the 90s, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Citizen Ruth. I don't even know what that movie is.
Wasn't it directed by
Alexander Payne?
Oh, right. Okay.
And it's Laura Dern. She plays like a woman who gets pregnant and ends up being kind of like torn in every direction by sort of constituents of like the activists in the pro-life and pro-choice movement. Like,
oh wow.
And it's very, very funny.
Wow.
Brilliant comedy. And it's also like all of the Laura Dern mania that sort of kicked off like 10 years ago, and we've been living in the long wake of it. I'm like, go back to Citizen Ruth. Everyone has
wow.
She's never been funnier than she is in this movie.
Oh, there you go. Citizen Ruth. One of the first ever movie recommendations here from the podcast.
Yes.
Interesting. So that was after he did After Election.
Before. This was like an indie.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Before election.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Good to know.
There you go. It's the Bob Berens Minute.
Look, you wrote the script. It's a great script. Was there anything that hit the cutting room floor? They're like, oh, damn it. That joke or that scene or that moment. We cut it for time. Like anything that was missing that you wish had made it?
I'll say that like very different from what I intended for the episode was the practical effect of the pink mist. Like I had pitched it and was breaking the story as kind of like a spectral, like more VFX-y, but also like creepier and practical. And it kind of like hovers as this kind of like low to the ground haze.
Oh,
it was more of like an atomization, that kind of creepy effect. And instead it kind of became like a Pepto-Bismol balloon pop.
It definitely felt like a gender reveal party gone awry.
And honestly, I think that kind of serves not to bring this up, but kind of like the intense pink like pop of it all kind of ends up serving the kind of queer reading of the episode that, you know, it was definitely not like intentional. But when I watch the episode now, I'm like it really does feel like I've designed it to communicate queer subtext. Like that was a lot of it was incidental to the work I was doing, just, you know, managing the story I had and the idea I had.
You mentioned queer subtext. Was there something else in that episode that was queer subtext?
Yeah. I mean, I
wish America could see the look you just gave me.
It comes down to the Destiel of it all. You know, the Cass Dean story, which I had inherited, that like Dean had kicked Cass out, you know, of the bunker at the end of the last Dean Cass myth episode.
Right.
This was the episode of them kind of coming back to a bit of a reconciliation. And yeah, I just watched the first 15 minutes of the episode this morning, and I was just like, the reading there is so clearly, that's not that the intended meaning was romantic, but it is about a relationship, and that Dean feels guilt about how he treated Cass, so he leaves the bunker to go, you know, at the first opportunity to kind of reach out and make amends for the fact that he was, for various reasons, felt compelled to kick him out in the last episode. But what it can be read as, and was read by as many fans, is like he's sneaking out because he misses his boyfriend. I mean, like even the sort of like management of Sam and Kevin back at the bunker, it's like, oh no, I'm going to do this thing. He's kind of like, you know, pretexting, and they're kind of like, is that what this is about? There's just a reading of this as kind of like a heartache for Cass, which the intended meaning was really like he cares about Cass as his friend, he misses him.
Yeah.
But it ends up reading as kind of this romantic story with like looks, you know, over the gas station. And I remember screen caps flooding back to me on Twitter after the episode aired of like Dean looking at Cass through the glass. And like, there is like a romantic sub reading of the episode that fits in extremely neatly, and that it plays out by accident very perfectly for readers who wanted to read it through that lens. So
the only thing that I picked up on, just to prove that I'm not completely immune, is when Dean gets the phone call. Well, you haven't called me. You know, is that sort of like, what's with the silent treatment, you know, kind of vibe that I was like, okay, that had a little bit of a twinge of what I would read into that as sort of a romance, or the maybe romance is too strong a term, but you know what I mean? Like that sort of like, there's subtext there.
Yeah. Well, also with Castiel's character, there's almost an asexuality to Castiel, right? He could go either way, you know what I mean? And Dean sort of showing him to unbutton his shirt and loosen up, and this is what women like, you know. There's stuff that could be read in there of him really trying to be straight, or trying to do the thing that humans do.
Playing those roles. And like the inside of that story is really, it's about where Cass is in his story. It's about Dean, you know, wanting to help his friend, seeing his friend in a situation where he kind of doesn't know his way. And really that's the meaning we were writing from and breaking story from. But then you get screen caps of Dean telling Cass to unbutton his shirt. And you get like a look over at his chest as he does. And it's like that stuff became very quickly.
Wow.
The funny thing was, I think like some members of the fandom had already determined that I might be their sleeper agent inside the show because of some random, slightly jerky tweets I had tweeted before I joined the show about, you know, oh, it's so boring writing straight male characters.
Sure.
Like, oh, he's our guy. And then the episode kind of like ended up fulfilling that expectation that I was putting out for them.
Well, you'll have to come back as your role develops on the show and sort of kind of help narrate, because there is a through line for you, you know, all the way to your very last Supernatural episode, correct?
Yeah.
So we can sort of trace that as you come back and talk to us.
I love that. That term of Bobo's our sleeper agent is fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great. Our man on the inside.
And this is me saying I was not. Like, the outside,
you heard it here first, people.
Like, I was not conspiring. I was conscious. Like, I knew that there was this fandom in this reading, and I think there was some like, you don't want to foreclose readings, right? So it's like, I was open. I was open to that coding, but like my primary job, which took, you know, a lot of time and a lot of thought, was telling 100%. Telling the story we, you know, set out to tell. So
serving the story, absolutely, 100%. No, it's fascinating to me, really. It's like, you get involved with the theories that fans are having. That's not necessarily fact. It's just a theory, and what's supporting what, and you know, it's really interesting.
And a show that runs as long as Supernatural does, and especially in that moment of social media and fandoms and, fandom communities online, it's like it becomes porous. And I think Supernatural is a test study of that that's unique amongst almost, it's like Star Trek was too early, later stuff like was in a different era. And this show ran so long that they kind of like, you can ignore the fans and their theories or you can engage with them, but ultimately across all those seasons, the interpenetration of that discourse and those ideas became very complex. And of course, Supernatural was so elastic and had so many episodes that there was a lot of play with, those expectations and those readings of the show. I know I sound very pedantic and academic right now, but
No, you don't. No, you don't. You sound really interesting and true.
No, it's really cool. It's really cool. And it's really interesting. It's really cool to hear you talk about the nuances of the relationship, how it was executed by accident or on purpose, how it was perceived by the writers and the people on the inside, because, it's all conjecture from out here. Mm-hmm. It's all just sort of like chitter chatter and water cooler talk and rumor mill stuff and you kind of guesswork. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear how it was playing out on the home field.
And look, there's an element of it that's fun. As a fan watching the show, it's fun to sort of have little theories and go, ooh, you know what I think,
The are they or aren't they of it all.
Yeah.
And I guess that means my arc from the show is from not sleeper agent to eventually like an actual sleeper agent in my last season.
Well, you'll have to let us know when you come back. But
yeah,
you'll be back before the last season because there's lots of Berens stories to tell.
There are, man. You got to come back. It's great to finally get you in here. I know you've been waiting with bated breath for this phone call, and finally it has arrived.
I legitimately have. Like my podcast, calendar has been blank for years. So I'm
well, now you're in, baby.
Yeah,
you're in, and there ain't no getting out.
Yeah.
Bobo, thank you, my man. Appreciate it so much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you both.
Look forward to having you back.
We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Rob. There's never been a time where I haven't needed a therapist. Even before I started seeing a therapist, I needed a therapist. And what I didn't know before I started seeing a therapist was that it's a sounding board, if nothing else. It's a place, a person you can go to who's not related to you, has no skin in the game, but they are someone that will listen to you for an hour. Now, finding the right therapist is the difficult part. And finding one who actually takes insurance, well, that's where most online therapy platforms fall short. Many don't work with insurance at all, which means you're stuck paying the full cost out of pocket or paying an expensive monthly subscription. Rula does things differently. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, making the average copay just $15 per session. That's real therapy from licensed professionals at a price that actually makes sense. Think about it. You use your insurance benefits to maintain your physical health, right? So why wouldn't you do the same for your mental health? And Rula isn't just about affordability. The whole experience is tailored around you. Other online therapy platforms might match you with the first available provider, whether or not they're the right fit. But Rula considers your goals, your preferences, your background to provide you with a curated list of licensed, in-network therapists who are actually aligned with what you need, because they know that finding the right therapist can make all the difference. So, no wait lists, no frustrating back and forth. Rula makes it easy to find a mental health provider who is accepting new patients, and appointments are available as soon as tomorrow, whenever tomorrow is, from whenever you're listening to this. Plus, Rula sticks with you throughout the journey, so they check in to make sure you're okay and that your care is helping you move forward. You're bound to find the right one for you. Rula partners with a network of over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, enabling you to find your personalized solution and the right therapist for you based on your needs, preferences, and state requirements. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/supernatural to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. So go to RULA.com/supernatural and tell them Supernatural Then and Now sent you. You deserve mental health care that works with you and not against your budget.
Starting or growing your own business can be intimidating and lonely at times. Your to-do list may feel endless with new tasks, and lists can easily begin to overrun your life. So finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything as a built-in business partner can be a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names like Gymshark, Rare Beauty, and Heinz, to brands just getting started. Shopify has hundreds of ready-to-use templates that can help you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand's style. And you can tackle all the important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. No need to save multiple websites or try to figure out what platform is hosting the tool that you need. And if people haven't heard about your brand, you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you, with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns to reach customers wherever they're scrolling or strolling. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. That's shopify.com/realm.
Hey there, thanks for listening. Now, back to the episode.
That was awesome.
That was great.
I mean,
What a good guy.
we went from Bobo to romance.
That's right.
Instead of a bromance, it's a Bobo-mance.
From Bobo to Romance is the name of his autobiography.
It really should be from Bobo to bromance, right? And it shouldn't. It's the bees.
From Bobo to Bromance. That's right. I felt like Ben Edlund was our best friend, and we lost him because he's not on the show anymore. So now we've got a new best friend.
Bobo's the new Ben.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could have done that all day. However, we have other responsibilities, and one of those responsibilities is to deliver the following message to the listeners. Mythology, 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 mythology.
The Ritzine classification of angels is specific to supernatural. The closest parallels to the Ritzine in Judeo-Christian mythology are the virtues. Rich, tell us about that.
I went to college with a young lady named Amrita Besson, and we called her Rit, R-I-T, Rit Besson.
Uh-huh.
So in many ways, this episode is a nod to Rit, my friend from college.
Is it? Why don't you read that next sentence for me, Rich?
According to the hierarchy developed by the 5th and 6th, I guess.
5th through 6th, somewhere between
5th through
and
6th century theologian.
Yeah, we don't have pictures, right?
His first name is Pseudo? Like his first name is Pseudo-Dionysus?
He decided to call himself Pseudo-Dionysus because
Pseudo-Dionysius.
he was like, there was Dionysus, and he was like, well, I'm
Kind of.
like Dionysus.
Oh, Dionysius. But it's Dionysius, not Dionysus, which is interesting, or maybe a typo. The Areopagite.
That's his last name. Uh-huh.
Sure. So his middle name is the.
Uh-huh.
Virtues are the 5th rank of angels in the celestial hierarchy. You know what? Let me translate that to people who are casually listening. Gibberish, gibberish, gibberish. Gibberish, gibberish. Virtues are the 5th rank of angels in the celestial hierarchy.
That's right. That's right. The virtues are often described as the angels of divine grace, miracles, blessings, courage, and healing. Their name comes from the Latin virtute, meaning powers, strengths, or virtues.
If it's Latin, Rob, you studied Latin, does that make it virtutes? I mean, aren't E's not silent?
Sure. You'd think that as someone who extensively studied Latin.
Well, you went to Northwestern,
You're right. Northwestern definitely screams.
The Latin.
Study Latin.
Yeah, you're an academic.
Yeah. Virtutes.
Virtutes.
You took Latin, didn't you?
Yes. Quid nominator hic dies, discipuli.
See, I did not. So you would be the one to know that. Northwestern or no. Just because you went to a dumb school, USC, doesn't mean...
My Latin days were in high school.
The Bible never explicitly says virtues are the healing angels. That idea developed over centuries of theological interpretation. Because they're associated with the transmission of divine grace, many later Christian writers, or the latter Christian writers of modern-day writers, connected them with miraculous healings. Medieval theologians viewed illness not merely as a physical condition, but as something affecting the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. Virtues were thought to channel God's restorative grace.
Also, the language Kevin is trying to crack is Elamite. The Elamites, the people who spoke Elamite, were a civilization from around 2700 BC. They were descendants of Elam, a grandson of Noah. They lived in present-day northern Iran.
Not a lot of people, are people called Elam anymore. Maybe in that part of the country they are.
Maybe. I don't know. That name may be the Bob of Iran. I don't know.
It could be the Bob of Iran.
If that were true, it'd be a fun fact,
Yeah.
which is why it should maybe appear in our next segment. Fun facts, fun facts, fun facts, fun facts.
The title of this episode is inspired by the Angel films. 2 films. Oh, yes, that's right. There was another, Heaven Can Wait. Heaven Can Wait. 2 different films with the same name, 1943 and 1978. 1978 was a remake of the original.
Steve just shared the screen, highlighting the part that says there are 2 completely different classic Hollywood films titled Heaven Can Wait. The 2 distinct films, both critically acclaimed, but telling completely different stories, are outlined below.
Here's what it is.
What?
The 1978 version is a remake of a movie called Here Comes Mr. Jordan. The movie the early movie Heaven Can Wait was a different movie, but the new Heaven Can Wait is a remake.
Just not of this same title of the movie.
Before that, it was a play. It was an old play. But it's also, they're both songs. One by Meatloaf and one by Iron Maiden. Did you know that, Richard?
I did not. Did you?
No.
Okay. The lullaby that Castiel sings to baby Tanya is the theme song to the 80s TV show, The Greatest American Hero. Robert, name the star of The Greatest American Hero. No cheating.
It is William Catt.
Yeah, Robbie for the win. Big W in the Robbie column.
Woo! Wow.
No one saw that happening.
Where did he pull that from?
William Catt.
Pepto-Bismol was used for the pink exploding body spray effect.
Oh, that's a trip. Huh. And by the way, must have really had a strong smell in that room because Pepto-Bismol has a strong smell.
Yeah.
And everybody felt great after lunch.
I was going to say, the wall didn't have...
the vapors of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's inhaling it.
Yeah.
The staff writer for the article in the Rexford Post is called Christopher Cooper. Christopher Cooper was the props manager on Supernatural, or otherwise known as the property manager.
Now, that's a fun fact.
Yeah, Chris Cooper.
Well, that was really fun.
Great episode.
Yeah, we learned a lot there. A lot I never knew about the virtues. We had our new favorite guest, Bob Berens, who will be back.
Yep.
And we learned that Heaven Can Wait is a remake, but not of Heaven Can Wait.
Very true. So true.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
This episode of Supernatural features Jared Padalecki as Sam Winchester, Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester, and Misha Collins as Castiel.
Guest stars include Mark Shepard, Osric Chow, Elena Huffman, Ashton Holmes, and Tanya Clark.
Heaven Can't Wait was written by Robert Berens, directed by Rob Spira.
Editing by Don Cook. Music by Jay Greska.
Timothy Andrew Edwards wrote the original song Soul Sucker for the episode.
Executive produced by Robert Singer and Jeremy Carver.
Supernatural was created by Eric Kripke.
This episode originally aired on November 12th, 2013.
This episode of Supernatural Then and Now was hosted and executive produced by Richard Spade Jr. and Rob Benedict.
Produced by Stephen Hine. Written by Stephen Hine and Haida Holscher.
And edited and associate produced by Trey Booty.
And I'm going to paint a little happy little booty over here by this little creek.
Just a nice little booty.
Little Trey Booty right there for you.
Music provided by Tim Wynn.
The episode was recorded with the help of Sonic Fuel Studios.
This podcast is from Story Mill Media.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and YouTube at SPN Then and Now, and do our little thing that we ask you to do.
And become a member of the podcast to get early access, chat rooms with other podcast fans, and video interviews at patreon.com/SPN Then and Now.
Hey, what's up, Bobo? You've arrived. You finally made it.
Here, yeah.
We've been waiting.
You just insulted not only me and the good people of USC, University of Southern California, but specifically I said this whole episode is a nod to my college friend, Rit Besson, a USC alum, and you just basically spat in her face. Do you know that USC, we're the Trojans, USC, University of Southern California, we're the Trojans.
I know you are.
Do you know USC, University of South Carolina, they're the Gamecocks.
Uh-huh.
I always thought
That'd be a good...
if the two teams played and we just beat the tar out of them, the headline could be Trojans roll over the Cocks. You know what's great is that Castiel is going under the pseudonym Steve, and we're recording this podcast on June 19th, the birthday of my son, Steve.
Oh. Well, there you go.
And we also have a producer named Steve Hine.
That's true. Steve's everywhere. It's raining Steves.
It's a flock of Steves. It's raining Steves. Hallelujah. They were dependents of Elam, a grandson of Noah. No, I was going to say they all needed Elam to pay their bills. Man, he had a lot of mouths to feed, that Elam.
But for his tax purposes...
I mean, he paid
claimed,
zero.
like-
He paid zero. It was everything's a write-off. Okay, let's start over.
Story Mill Media.
The war is over, and both sides lost. Kingdoms were reduced to cinders, and armies scattered like bones in the dust. Now the survivors claw to what's left of a broken world, praying the darkness chooses someone else tonight. But in the Shadow Dark, the darkness always wins. This is old school adventuring at its most cruel. Your torch ticks down in real time, and when that flame dies, something else rises to finish the job. This is a brutal rules-light nightmare with a story that emerges organically based on the decisions that the characters make. This is what it felt like to play RPGs in the 80s, and man, it is so good to be back. Join the Glass Cannon podcast as we plunge into the Shadow Dark every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/theglasscannon, with the podcast version dropping the next day. See what everybody's talking about and join us in the dark.
Do you ever watch a TV show set in a historical time period and think, how accurate is this really? But also, does it matter if it's accurate or not?
Nefertiti is a new podcast about shows set in ancient times. This season, we're recapping every episode of the show Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
I'm Ann Foster, and I have never seen this show before.
And I'm Gina Berry, and I have watched this show maybe too many times.
Join us every other Monday on the Nefertiti podcast as we discuss the real history behind Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Follow Nefertiti, that's NEFER TV, wherever you get your podcasts.